Well, good morning, everyone, and how are you? And welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We appreciate you guys more than you know. And we want to say hello to some dear friends this morning. We do our roll call. And we sure appreciate guys that can come with us. Andrea, Michael, let's see if Brahim's up there. Jude. In Troy, New York, Nativity. Good morning to you guys. Nellie, right at the top. And Jude is saying, hello. Hey, Rosalinda from Niagara Falls. We love you dearly. Kevin, our dear friend from Oshawa. Janice from Brampton. There's Doc McEwen right up at the front from West Tennessee. Judy. New Brunswick, Rosa. Good morning, Rosa from Montreal. Nick from our staff. Fran, Orangeville. Faithful follower. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Donna from Park Hill. Good morning. Diane from LaSalle. Margie from Kansas. Is it hot? Diane, T-Bay. Dave, how are you? From Muskoka. It's cool right down here today. Jill. Donna, Belle Ewart, how are you? Edith, sunny Halifax, good morning to you. Maureen, Boca Raton, Florida. Kristen from Saskatchewan. Maryland, Kelowna. Adeline, how are you? Sylvia, it's like I know all you guys. Karen, Innisfil. Yeah, I did see you, Doc. I don't see you often, Rose. Yvonne, Petawawa. John, how are you? Cheryl, West Virginia. Karen, good morning from Coldwater. Gloria, New York. Love you dearly. Donna, Newfoundland. Melika, how is you? Dave from Cardiff. And Laurie from Cambridge. Good morning to you. Lise, bonjour. Sandy is already in the clouds. Yeah, I bet you it is hot. Hey, Sharon in Kansas, in the Midwest there. Donna, Wanda, Virginia. We had our real heat spell this week here. Patricia, but it's cool right down now. Patricia's in Florida. Maureen, Susan, how are you? Carol in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Catherine, Newfoundland. We love Newfoundland. Sandy, Chilliwack, BC. Christine in Texas. Couple more, guys. Ida, how are you? Ida. Crystal, Regina. Judy, good morning. Maureen from Penticton, British Columbia. Patricia's having her coffee, and me too. Gloria saying hello to Sandy. Brahim in the clouds. Bonnie, Veronica, and Brahim. We're laughing, Brahim, but not at you, with you. Guy Gary, Denise from Oakville, the internet. Yeah, like, you know what? Marl, Ottawa. Lise, Crystal, good morning to you. Okay, Mary, how are you from New Brunswick? And Madeleine, bonjour. Betty, Tiny Beaches. Bonnie in Newfoundland. Kevin's in the cloud. No, Kevin's saying that Brahim's in the cloud. Okay, guys, yesterday we touched on this. I want to do a little bit more detail this morning. An article written, this was a study done in 2022 in the Arthritic and Rheumatology publication, Anti-Nuclear Antibodies, Biomarkers of Autoimmune Disease are up 50% in the last 30 years. Now, I sort of mentioned this yesterday in What's New, right? Like autoimmune has been around as long as we can recorded history is not, I don't know, I can say recorded history, but as far back as you can go into medical certainly in the last 100 years, I studied autoimmune in school, but it's way up, okay? And we sort of talked about that yesterday, but I want to go into a little bit more detail on autoimmune because so many people suffer from autoimmune disease. Why? Okay? Why? And why are these antibodies? Why is the body turning on itself? And I mean, what's changed? Well, guys, if you followed me for any length of time, I brought this up well over 30 years ago, probably close to 40 years ago now. I talked about autoimmune. Now, you guys know this. I did my thesis for my PhD on chronic fatigue syndrome. That, nobody really said it, but I was saying it. I was saying it back then. There was major leaky gut. And even today, I think that most researchers in the area of fibromyalgia, maybe not as much in chronic fatigue, would agree that it's, I don't know if they categorize it as an autoimmune, but there's a lot of autoimmune involved in fibromyalgia, the body turning on itself. Now, what I said, let's say 35 years ago, here's what I said. I said that the reason, one of the major reasons, someone got chronic fatigue syndrome, yep, adrenal gland exhaustion. I talked about cortisol way back when. I talked about that messing their system up. And it was mostly women, so I knew it was big time hormonal. But here's the big thing. They had autoimmune. The body was turning on itself. And the number one reason for that, why would your body turn on itself? Here was my thesis. Antibiotics. Because what we did, we had 500 people. Listen, I'm clinical, okay? So I'm not a researcher per se, okay? I had a real practice with real people. And I was a very observant person, and you never got to see me unless you filled out history. You had to tell me a lot about yourself. And one of the questions I would ask people, have you been on antibiotics? Well, I don't know if I ever met anybody as an adult that hasn't been on antibiotics. But I was more interested in people that were on recurring antibiotics, especially as children. It was amazing to me the connection between the use and recurring use of antibiotics and autoimmune. See, that's where I connected the dots, so to speak. Antibiotics, the greatest, you know what we say here at the doctor is in. The greatest discovery of the 20th century were antibiotics saved millions of people's lives and become the curse of the 21st century. One of them is autoimmune. I'm 100% convinced of that. 100%. Because what happens, antibiotics, and we know so much more today than we did years ago, but antibiotics in 5 days, 5 literal days, will wipe out all your good bacteria. In 5 days. How many millions and millions and millions of people, they don't know that. They don't know that they know maybe, because probiotics now have become, probably let me just say this, probiotics have become a very popular subject, right? Guys, I've been talking about them for 40 years or more. But to me, in my mind, because of what I used to see in my office, it was a double-edged sword of antibiotics helping you with an infection. But the other side of the sword was it was wiping out your friendly bacteria, and it was creating in the body what we call a dysbiosis. Okay? 30, 40 years ago, nobody even talked about dysbiosis. When I did, when I used to tell people, and I should have been doing this in my office, okay? You have dysbiosis. They go, what? You have more bad guys than good guys. What? Well, when you take an antibiotic, hey, you need an antibiotic, good for you. But when you do, you have to understand that it's going to create a microscopic change inside your body. And I don't care who you are, it's going to do it. Antibiotics work. They kill bacteria, but it's friendly fire, guys. They just wipe out everything. So what happens is that you lose your friendly bacteria. This creates a dysbiosis. And a dysbiosis means you don't have enough good guys. The bad guys come back real quick, but you don't have enough good guys. You've created a discrepancy. We've created with antibiotics. I am 100% convinced of this. Autoimmune. We put autoimmune diseases on steroids, on a rocket ship. And look at the numbers because of dysbiosis. The microbiome is such a fascinating topic to me. And as we go down the road, I'm even more fascinated. Like what we didn't know about the microbiome. How bacteria communicate with each other. The bacteria in the brain communicate with the bacteria in the gut. And by the way, you've got more friendly bacteria, okay, in your gut than you have in your brain. But you also have more serotonin. The feel-good hormone. You got more of that in your gut than you have in your brain. Now they communicate with each other. It's almost they're going up and down a ladder between the brain and the gut, traveling on the vagus nerve, not Las Vegas, your 10th cranial nerve that connects your brain to your stomach. You ever get butterflies? And you get that butterflies in the stomach? That's the cranial nerve. But back to autoimmune. So what happens? You take an antibiotic. You have an infection. Millions of women today will take an antibiotic for bladder infections. I heard yesterday that in my hometown, Pharmacists will now prescribe an antibiotic. I didn't know that. For bladder, you don't even have to see a doctor. And if you have a bladder infection, hey, I never tell people not to take an antibiotic. I don't do that. I used to give them some parameters, like, is it really burning, or is it, you had a urine test. A lot of doctors do this. You had a urine test and they go, oh, you got bacteria. You got an infection. Put you on an antibiotic. That's craziness, guys. If you have severe burning upon urination, yes, an antibiotic. And here's me. And the proof, guys, is in the studies. Here's what they say about antibiotics. You take them and you don't finish them. Because listen, I heard this for 50 years. You take an antibiotic and you better finish it, otherwise the bacteria is coming back with a vengeance. No, here's what research has proven. Antibiotics were not meant to wipe out all of your bacteria. Doctors don't think of dysbiosis. Most physicians wouldn't even know dysbiosis if it slapped them in the face. They don't know anything about it. They don't even believe it. What? What's dysbiosis? Well, it's when you don't have enough friendly bacteria. They've been wiped out. And now you've created an enormous change in the gut. And then you get the Trojan horse has come in. The Trojan horse has come in. Yeast, fungus. Why do you think you and I see so much SIFO? Now, guys, you heard this first on the Doctors In podcast. You heard it here before anybody ever said this. I'm 100% for sure about that. I called SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, SIFO. We did it, 4 or 5 years ago here on this program? Because I always thought when I saw SIBO that it wasn't SIBO, it was SIFO. It was fungal. It was dysbiosis. It was when the yeast comes in as the Trojan horse, when you don't have enough friendly bacteria. And yeast can really mess up your body, including your immune system. Your body looks at yeast coming in and it don't know what to do with it. It's a foreign invader. And it can really mess up your immune system, and a big factor in autoimmune. Whenever you get yeast traveling in your bloodstream, how does that happen? Leaky gut. How does leaky gut happen? The number one reason is antibiotics. The number one. And then you feed the bears. I had my t-shirt on the other day. Don't feed the bears. And people go, what is that guy, a nutcase? Is he crazy, that guy? What's he talking about? Don't feed the bears. Well, you guys know what I mean. Don't feed Candida sugar. It goes crazy. It has children. It multiplies quickly. Guys, so this is one of the biggest reasons when I read anti-nuclear antibodies, biomarkers of autoimmune is up 50% in the last 30 years. Guys, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you see it today. You see so much autoimmune, from Sjogren's to MS. I even call Parkinson's an autoimmune disease. Okay? ALS, Lou Gehrig's, autoimmune in my opinion. All the skin conditions. Look at every skin, eczema, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis. They're all on a rocket ship in terms of numbers. Up and up and up and up. Why? Number one reason is antibiotics. They mess up. And this is why I've been screaming for so many years, please, please take probiotics when you are on an antibiotic. And guys, yogurt won't do. I'm sorry, yogurt won't do. One capsule. And you need broad spectrum too, guys, okay? One capsule of probiotic, you'd have to eat 16,000 yogurts. Who's going to do that? But what I'm saying is when you put a broad spectrum probiotic into your body, and you need the different varieties of bacteria, because different bacterial strains that are on your side do different things. They go to different places. And you know, guys, this is so essential. And whenever I saw autoimmune, including chronic fatigue syndrome, like I said, I did history. And these people almost invariably, I tell you, I can hardly think of an exception to it. Not only did they have leaky gut, but they were on antibiotics as kids, ear infections, throat infections, taking penicillin as kids, recurring. How many women did I see in a study that were on antibiotics as teenagers for acne? Unreal. And for years, take an antibiotic. Incredible. But yet, you know, like doctors never thought for 1 minute. They didn't, you know, even today, you talk about a microbiome to most physicians and they look at you like you got two heads. They just don't get the training in it. I had doctors tell my patients, because I used to, well, I should have. I didn't do it enough. Say, look, you got leaky gut. Now shut up about it. You have fungus. I found it in your blood. Now shut up. Why? Because a lot of my patients would run to their doctor and tell him, Dr. Martin told me I got candida. And they said, he's crazy. Oh, that Dr. Martin. He's a nutcase. I was very popular. I was with my patients. Popular with physicians, but maybe not for the right reasons, okay? Because I used to pull their chain a lot, and they didn't like it. Well, listen, you came to my office, you got an education. You came to my office, I tell you the truth. You got fungus, or you got parasites crawling around your body, and the reason you're not fighting them, you don't have enough friendly bacteria. And the reason they got into your bloodstream is because you have leaky gut. You didn't have a border there. My American friends, you'd understand this. It's a huge topic in the United States. Your southern border. True or false? Of course it is. Right? And I don't blame anybody. If I lived in, I don't know, in Mexico or Honduras or whatever, I'd be trying to get into the States too. Look, let's not get political, but let's just tell the truth. They want to come in. And when there's nobody at the border to stop them, they're coming in. That's what happens inside your gut, guys. I think it's a good analogy. Maybe you don't, but I do. In my mind, I'm visual. I see these strange candida and bugs and parasites or whatever coming into the body. How does heavy metal, by the way, get into your body? Mostly. It travels with fungus. You can't have the heavy metal come into your body, by and large, if you have a good zipper on your gut, between your gut and your blood. You're not going to get autoimmune if you have a good zipper. You have a border. Your body goes, nah, you're not coming in here. But this is why antibodies, there's so much, there's such a big increase in all these autoimmune diseases. And like I said, I like to put Parkinson's in there because I have no doubt in my mind that's a big factor in Parkinson's. And in Parkinson's, they see a lot of heavy metal in the brain. MS, you see scar tissue in the brain. I tell you guys, like, to my opinion, it's fungal. It's fungal. Anyway. So what do? Right? What do? Well, like I said, guys, everyone and your dog should be on probiotics. In this day and age, with all the chemicals around, with all the pesticides around, with all the plastics around, with any use of antibiotic, you need to take probiotics. They're on your side. And everybody, in my opinion, should be taking them. Okay? Everybody. There's a blood test for it. If you need a probiotic. Prick your finger. If it comes out red, you need a probiotic. Okay? There's the blood test for it. Everybody. Broad spectrum probiotics. 1. Cut out the sugar. Number 2. It's amazing how many people have done the reset where they're eating eggs, meat, and cheese for 30 days and they found out, holy moly, my autoimmune condition's better. Yeah, because you're fixing leaky gut and you're not feeding the bears. You're not feeding the bears. You're not feeding that. Yeast needs to eat. And yeast hates steak. I used to scream that in my office all the time. You know what? You see yeast? Don't feed it. And when you eat meat, and especially steak, they hate your guts. Yeast hates steak. So does cancer. It hates steak. The best prebiotic in the world is steak and coffee. What to do? Probiotic. What to do? Food. Eliminate the sugar. Eliminate the crappy carbs. 2, drink a lot of water. 2 liters a day, 64 ounces a day of water, okay? And only water is water. Flush. Empty the liver. It's a big factor. Your detox organ. There's other detox organs, but that's your number one. Vitamin D. Vitamin D's for everything. Okay? Your microbiome love vitamin D. If you can get in the sun, even better. Get 20 minutes, you got 10,000 IUs. So don't tell me about, I don't want to hear about overdosing. When you get, in 20 minutes of sun, you get 10,000 IUs. Do you think your body's crazy? And knit up. Rebuild the zipper. Probiotics rebuild the zipper, the border. Put border guards on there, okay? Send in the National Guard on the border. What? L-glutamine. Bone broth. It re-knits the border. Very important for autoimmune. Very important. Okay, I got excited again. I always get excited. I can't get over it. You know, I start talking about stuff I love to talk about, and I get excited. You know what I get excited about, guys? Fridays. You know why? It's Q&A. I love Q&A. I love when you guys ask questions. Doctor means teacher. Ask me questions. Okay? For you new folks, I'm very opinionated. Okay? I am. Well, you can't have a radio show 20 years and not be opinionated. You better be very opinionated. Okay? If I had one, you know why I don't wear an Apple Watch? Because I don't want anybody telling me to breathe. Okay? Okay. We love you guys dearly, sincerely. You're the best audience in the world. You guys are the smartest. 100%. All getting honorary degrees in clinical nutrition. How's that? Brought to you by the Doctor Is In podcast. Okay, we love you guys. Talk to you soon.